Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we got to talk about the price of Bitcoin because the bounce I was literally talking to you guys about in yesterday's podcast happened today. Bitcoin right now at the time of recording at $63,106. On the daily chart, we are seeing a big green candle here. So Bitcoin moved up a few $1,000s, guys, and the RSI in the daily chart reversing, bouncing upwards now. And on the flip side of the token, guys, the DXY, bunch of red candles on the daily chart, its RSI is crashing downwards. This is a very good sign. Looks bullish, looks promising. However, I want to give it till the close of the week on Sunday to further validate itself because we've seen the market play tricks with us where there are fake outs. So it could easily turn around. And I've been here since 2016. I've gotten faked out a few times. So this is why I want to see these things play out and prove themselves, confirm that this is indeed the reversal, the bounce upwards. And we got to be patient, of course. And I'm hoping Bitcoin is able to close the week at $64,000 because I think that would validate this move. But looking bullish, this is what you want to see. And even if you don't hold Bitcoin, remember, Bitcoin is a rising tide that lifts all boats. The liquidity comes in via Bitcoin, then it flows out to the altcoins. Here's what analyst Kevin Svensson is highlighting. And by the way, check out his YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to him. He highlighted the parabolic curve pattern. I think I shared this with you guys a couple times, where Bitcoin is in this parabolic curve pattern where it's on its way to around $90,000. And so far, it is playing out beautifully. Going back to the beginning of 2023, there was question as to would this recent pullback, which was pretty steep, break the parabolic curve pattern. It didn't. It bounced right on time, folks. So the next target is around that 90K point. That's not the top of the market. That would just be kind of your short-term run-up top or mid-cycle top. We would have probably a really strong pullback and correction, and then, move sideways and then run up to higher highs. But this is great, if you're holding altcoins as well, because once again, the liquidity flows through Bitcoin. So looking promising here. Like I said, though, guys, let's give this till the close of the week on Sunday. Bitcoin closes over 64K, and that would be incredibly bullish. I think giving us further confirmation that this is the move upward. So let's keep an eye on this. Now, some other good news, which I think is a kind of a relief for many folks. Eric Balchunas of Bloomberg is reporting that Grayscale, GBTC, had inflows today. If you've been keeping up with this, they've had consecutive days of outflows. Their 80-day-ish streak is finally over. I had to run my eyes and double check the data, but it's true. So that means less sell pressure, guys, less sell pressure because there was a lot of outflows out of GBTC. My goodness, because their fees were ridiculous. People were moving to the other ETFs and just trying to get out of these crazy fees. So the fact that they are now seeing inflows, guys, funny how it is all aligns, right? With Bitcoin bouncing, the charts, and much more. So very, very good sign. And remember what I shared with you guys earlier this week, that there are new players acquiring the Bitcoin ETFs. So for example, we heard from BNY Mellon, or their SEC filing indicated that they have exposure to 20,000 shares of IBIT, which is BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, and roughly 7,000 shares of Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF. So they actually own it. They bought it, guys. So they're not just custodying it, because BNY Mellon is the world's largest custodial bank and America's oldest bank. So this news, of course, I broke to you guys earlier this week. So we're seeing demand. And here, Fidelity today said pension funds are exploring Bitcoin and crypto. Of course they are. I think with the ETFs in play now from these big trusted institutions on Wall Street, many pensions, endowments, and so forth, I think are going to jump all the way in. There have been many participating over the years, but now I think any lingering concerns they may have had has been alleviated. So great sign. And we're going to see a lot more folks coming into the market. If you caught my interview with James Samford of Bloomberg, who's an ETF analyst, he talked about this. He said, look, UBS, Morgan Stanley, and a lot of these trading houses are not even here yet. There's rumors that they are to offer the ETFs, but just imagine they're not even here yet. And I've often stated that the educational and awareness campaign for RIAs and wealth managers is currently in motion. All of these issuers are going out, knocking on the doors of the wealth managers and RIAs and telling them about their ETFs, the fees, and how it all works. So the ETF party is not over. This thing is going to continue into the year. And here's some news around BlackRock and this is coming from Carlos Domingo, who's the founder and CEO of Securitize. And remember, BlackRock is using Securitize to help tokenize on the Ethereum blockchain, tokenizing funds and so forth. Well, Carlos said today that they completed a $47 million funding round led by who? BlackRock. Wow. So BlackRock is using him, and then they're like, you know what, we're going to invest in you guys. And the other investors included Hamilton Lane, Parify Capital, TradeWeb, and many others. So BlackRock is putting their money where their mouth is, and I think we see the writing on the wall. They're custodying US Circle USDC reserves. They're issuing Bitcoin ETFs. They're tokenizing on Ethereum. They are also investing in companies that are building the infrastructure for the market, like Securitize. So clear indication, guys, of how bullish they are on this industry and asset class. Now, quick word from our sponsor, guys, and that is Uphold. Uphold is a great crypto platform that allows you to buy, sell, trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and all the top altcoins. They have 260 plus cryptocurrencies. Folks, you can also trade precious metals on this platform, such as gold, silver, and palladium, and platinum. And Uphold has a great service called Vault, which helps you to easily back up your private keys to give you peace of mind, where they split up the private keys. You control them, the funds, of course, but if you ever lose any of your private keys, they have the backup. And it's a great service. They actually recently added support for Bitcoin. Their first asset was XRP. And Uphold, I've been using them since 2018. I've interviewed the CEO, the CFO, many representatives. So I trust this platform, guys. And they don't commingle or lend out your funds and all that nonsense. They have full transparency reports as well that you can go review. This is important for the future of crypto, that we have this transparency. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, check out the link in the description. Now, guys, we got a report here that venture capital pours $2.4 billion into crypto startups in early 2024. And of course, we are now in Q2, so $2.4 billion in just about near 4 months, right? Because we just started May for the years, and more capital is going to flow in, guys. So let me give you the details here. According to data compiled by Galaxy Research, investors injected $2.49 billion across 603 deals in the first quarter of 2024, representing a 29% increase in funding and a 68% rise in deal count from the previous quarter. A sustained recovery must be confirmed by subsequent quarters of growth, the report states, adding, this was the first rise in both capital invested and deal count in 3 quarters, perhaps signaling that Q4 2023 was the bottom, although a continuation of quarter-over-quarter increases and a more meaningful increase would confirm that over the coming quarters. Several factors influence this quarter's investment dynamics, including the introduction of the Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, innovations in areas such as restaking, modularity, and Bitcoin Layer 2 solutions, as well as macroeconomic factors such as interest rates. The historical correlation between Bitcoin prices and venture capital investments in crypto has weakened over the past year. The report notes that while Bitcoin has shown considerable price increases, venture capital activity has been stagnant until the recent surge in early 2024. However, investment levels are still not comparable to those reached when Bitcoin previously exceeded $60,000. Part of that, I think, is the market and the investors last year were waiting to see what the Fed was going to do and how high were rates going to go. Now that rates have stabilized, I think this is why we're seeing more capital coming in. The ETFs, of course, helped with that. And I think from a macro perspective, investors see that rate cuts are in the future. So we've kind of gone over the hill or hit the max on the quantitative tightening. I think the Fed and so forth, they're going to start to ramp down. In fact, there was some data showing today that the M2 money supply started to increase again. And we know that, you know what that leads to, right? More liquidity, which will come into markets. So we are headed towards quantitative easing again. And we know the Fed while they haven't called it quantitative easing, has been doing, these backdoor bailout deals and so forth. So that's all liquidity being introduced, bailing out some of these banks, trying to save them and so forth. So all of that means asset prices will rise again. So great to see more capital coming into the market. And I think this number increases as the year progresses, as the bull market heats up. Now, guys, we got to talk about Michael Saylor. And you all know that I respect Michael Saylor. I respect what he's done. And even before Bitcoin and the bets he's made. Obviously, the man is the biggest Bitcoin bull in the history of this crypto market. He's bought so much Bitcoin personally, as well as through his company MicroStrategy. But from time to time, he likes to lie and talk up his book, which only consists of Bitcoin. And then that means he spreads FUD about altcoins. So in a recent speech, I think at his Bitcoin for Corporations initiative, he said Ethereum, BNB, Solana, Ripple, Cardano will be deemed as securities this summer and will never be accepted by Wall Street. Really, dude? Really? I tweeted out about this. Like, dude, come on, man. This is a straight up Bitcoin maxi strategy here, just lying and trying to point investors to the asset that you hold. I mean, come on, you hold so much. I hope the people in that room are paying attention and just seeing through the nonsense. And the mere fact that Hong Kong this week approved Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs that went live. And in the United States, we have Ethereum futures ETF, and there's many folks filing for Ethereum spot ETFs. He's trying to say, oh, there's never going to be any altcoin ETFs. Like, come on. So it's a big fat lie. He's talking his book, but I wish he wouldn't do that, because it just destroys his reputation. Because it's like, well, dude, if you're so confident in Bitcoin, why do you need to spread lies, right? Be confident in the asset and talk about its attributes. Don't go spread FUD. That shows that you're actually scared. That shows you don't fully believe in your asset. You're just talking up your book. And I have to call it like it is. You guys know I keep it real with you guys. Some Bitcoin maxis may get mad at me, but I have to call it like it is, right? I'm not here to spread any hidden agenda or spread lies or blow smoke up, you know what, right? I'm here to make money, and I'm looking at the facts and the reality of the situation. So Saylor just talking his book. So you guys have probably see this clip floating around, but it's just straight up nonsense. Now, speaking of nonsense, Senator Elizabeth Warren is at it again, folks. And this time I tell you, the stuff that she comes up with. She sent another letter out, and she also got a co-sponsor, and she sent this to the U.S. Department of Defense, and it's saying that, oh, we must be focused on Iran, that they're mining Bitcoin for funding proxies. And it's like, really? Didn't Biden just release how many billions of dollars? Don't look at the cash. Don't look at the money that the U.S. government gave to them. Look at if they're mining Bitcoin. You can't make this stuff up, guys. This is why you have to be educated. You don't just read headlines. You do your research, because some people who are not educated will look at this and be like, oh my gosh, Iran, they're mining Bitcoin. Oh my gosh, right? But it's like the Biden administration just gave them like how many billions of dollars? Go look it up, guys. So it's like, it's not the cash and all these other assets that these bad actors. I'm not saying Iran as a country, but there are bad people in Iran. There's bad people in the United States, everywhere, right? You want to stop bad actors. But the point is, they'll find any medium of exchange. But Elizabeth Warren wants to paint the picture. They're only using crypto, and crypto is the seed, the root of all evil, and why these people are doing bad things, right? It's ridiculous. She has no shame. And this is why I've been telling people, like, she's one of the most corrupt politicians I've ever seen. And I didn't understand that until crypto came along. And it's not that she's anti-crypto. I just started seeing the connections. Like, she painted herself as, the anti-establishment against banks, but she's working with many of these banks, Jamie Dimon and so forth. And then my eyes were open, like, wow, this person is really corrupt, man. She's playing a big game. And look, I understand that she is in favor of certain rights for like women and so forth. And I'm not against that. But hidden behind that veil, that facade, is tons of corruption. And I hope people wake up to see what's happening. And this is why we got to vote for John Deaton. Kick Elizabeth Warren out. John Deaton running against her. My viewers and listeners who are in the state of Massachusetts, vote John Deaton. Those of you who are outside the state, donate to John Deaton. I've donated to him. Many crypto industry leaders have, because this, I mean, just look at the mess Elizabeth Warren is causing with this crypto industry, and it's all, because she's being controlled by the banking incumbents, right? They're using her as a tool to slow down the entire industry and to try to kill the startups, not kill crypto, kill the startups, so that these TradFi banking incumbents can come in and take over. And of course, her puppet on the string is Gary Gensler. That's why he's been attacking the crypto industry, breaking the law, lying to the courts, being arbitrary and capricious. But he doesn't care because the Democrats are in power. Elizabeth Warren has all the power right now. So he's doing the bidding of his master. And likewise, Elizabeth Warren. There's a food chain here, right? Gary, Elizabeth Warren, and then the banking incumbents that she works for. So look, this is all nonsense. I mean, it's unbelievable. She continues to send out this nonsense. So Alexander Grieve, who's government affairs at Paradigm, he said, honestly, at this point, I just feel bad for the Warren staff that has to crank out 2 to 3 of these things every week, right? She puts out these like scary letters like, oh no, they're using this, as though, once again, the Biden administration didn't release billions to the people. If you're really concerned about them doing bad things, why the hell are you releasing billions of dollars back to them, right? It's all bullshit. So this is why we got to keep fighting, folks. And one way I'm going to keep fighting and helping is not only with the podcast, but I'm going to DC May 15th and 16th. The Chamber of Digital Commerce is hosting a summit called the DC Blockchain Summit. There'll be many great speakers there, many members of Congress, Kristen Gillibrand, Cynthia Lummis, Patrick McHenry, Hester Peirce, Caroline Pham from the CFTC, and many other crypto industry leaders. So I'm looking forward to this. There's 2 parts to this. So day 1 is the summit, which, there's going to be a lot of speakers from the industry and members of Congress. And then day 2 is Blockchain Education Day, where we will go on Capitol Hill. And that's the day I'm excited about, guys, to go on Capitol Hill and meet with some of these folks. And if you're able to make it out there, guys, you can buy some tickets using my link or code and get a discount. So you don't have to come to the summit. You can just come for the Blockchain Education Day. So be sure to check it out. John Deaton's going to be there. A lot of folks. I'm really excited about this, and it should be a good time. And we'll go make our voices heard, folks. And folks, don't forget to grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It supports the podcast, documents the regulatory battle, the ETF race. And if you would like to give this as a gift for someone, it's a great gift because it will help them to understand crypto. It breaks it down in layman's terms. It gives the 360 holistic view of this asset class. So thank you guys for watching and listening. I appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you all later.